update and profile ESXi hosts. All right, so we are now at the point where we have to start doing some of the configuration management tasks in our vCenter environment. And what's interesting is that ESXi, being a Linux-based operating system, in many ways actually makes these configuration management tasks a lot easier. You know, Linux is very file-based in the composition of its OS. There's not really the sense of a registry there. So many of the configurations that you do, I mean, if you need to go change an IP address, for example, you're going to do so by changing a file somewhere. What this means is that the process of profiling an ESXi host is in many ways very simple. Now, even though the process is simple, what you need to have are some automations that sort of take all the different possibilities that you can use for an ESXi profile, so all those different configurations that are out there, automate the collection of them, and then present to you what is essentially, all right, this is the host as it's configured, and then allow you to then compare this host's profile, its configuration, with the other hosts on your system. Now, if you remember, I've said a few times already that when you're configuring ESXi hosts, there's a lot of these configurations that are very host-centric. And if I'm creating a standard switch, a standard vSwitch, I've got to create a standard vSwitch on this host, and I have to do the exact same thing with the exact same configuration on that host and that host and that host and that host. And if I don't do it correctly, well, I might end up with some host that, well, as virtual machines are moving around, they end up on a host that's not got the necessary configurations that it needs. So profiling your ESXi hosts is a very important step in maintaining your configuration control, because not doing so could mean that you don't have the right configuration that is cohesively applied across all of those hosts in your environment. Now, vCenter has this tool called host profiles, and it provides a mechanism for you to automate this whole configuration management process. And we'll talk about that in this nugget as well. We're going to create and work with some host profiles and then use them to perform compliance scanning and also remediation of different ESXi hosts. We're also in this nugget going to talk about the whole process of updating those hosts as well. So the tool in vCenter that you'll use in order to do this is the vCenter Update Manager. And we'll install the manager tool, we'll install the plugin, we'll work with some baselines, which is the mechanism by which it identifies what sorts of patches that you need, and then remediate those baselines and apply the patches. So let's actually spend some time then working in our old vCenter instance here. This is once again vc.company.pri, the whole vCenter instance we've been working with thus far. I got my 3 hosts here. I got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 virtual machines that we've created so far. Now, I want to take a look at these 3 hosts because it's entirely possible that maybe I've not created all of my configurations the same. And if I didn't have some sort of automation tool, well, I'd have to click through all these different settings to verify, well, is everything indeed the same or not? One of the other tools that's available, as I mentioned, is this host profiles service, or this host profiles plugin that's available here inside of the vSphere client. Now, the first thing you have to do is arrive at this location and create a profile. I am going to create a profile from an existing host here, and that existing host is just simply going to be esx1.company.pri. The assumption here is that you have one host that you just absolutely know that you've configured correctly. And so what you